Hi, it's me, Debbie Hilly, and today I want to do the classroom portion of our hand stripping and carding class. After this classroom portion, there will be a demonstration with a long-coated Jack Russell that's actually my dog. And if you'll notice, I have on a different shirt. It's because this videos were shot at different times because this portion disappeared into the Ethernet. I have no idea where it went. This will be the 4th time I've shot this, so fingers crossed it works this time. Okay, we're going to start off with the basic information about carding. Carding and stripping involve removing hair, either using your hands or using tools to do it. I think pretty much everybody knows that. A lot of people think that it's rough on the body and cruel for the dogs, and it's neither one if it's done properly. One of the biggest things I have found with doing this is that I like to do it on dirty dogs. It's one of the very few times I will ever work on a dirty dog willingly, but without a doubt, it's the best way to pull hair. If for some reason you cannot work on the dog while it's dirty, let's say it is disgustingly dirty or it's covered in fleas or the bather grabbed it before you got your hands on it, which happens sometimes, there are ways you can add extra grip to the coat to make it come out better after a bath. And one of the ways is ear powder. It's one of the few things that I actually use this for. I literally will just squeeze a little bit on my hand, just about like that, just to get a little bit of rosin on your hands and then pull it out. Some people dump it straight under the coat. You can do that too. If you do that, you're probably going to have to rebathe the dog to get it out. They make terrier chalk, which is also great for grip and for degreasing dogs. We've covered that in blog posts already. Dirty hair pulls better. It's actually better for the skin to pull it while it's dirty, because then when you do a bath, if you have any irritation whatsoever, you can do a medicated bath, and that will prevent infection from setting in if you feel like you have a problem with that. But anyway, this adds your grip, and my fingers right now are very sticky and tacky from having it on my fingers. If you're going to do this, wear a mask when you apply it, because otherwise you'll inhale it, and that can make you sneeze or whatever. But it's, again, one of the few times I work on dirty dogs, and I really prefer to strip my dogs or card my dogs while they're dirty. Now, a lot of people don't understand the difference between carding and stripping. And carding is the removal of undercoat, and it can be done with, and I don't have one out, a slicker brush is a way of carding if you rough it right and you get all the undercoat out. Carding knives. This is the Andis de-shedder, but I consider it a mucking tool, and mucking refers to pulling out undercoat and bulk amounts of hair. And it can also be done with a comb that has wrapped with rubber bands. But let me tell you the difference between a carding knife and a stripping knife real quick, because it's something that gets asked all the time. Carding knives are longer, and these are my classics. I love these things. They don't make them anymore. Franklin makes them, very similar one. But these are carding knives. They're designed to remove undercoat quickly and easily. And the biggest difference between a carding knife and a stripping knife is the size. Do you see how the difference is there? I could strip with this knife, but I would be wasting the tool because your thumb has to be there in order to strip. And I could card with this knife, but I'm not going to get a very large area because it's such a small area. And again, your thumb goes against the knife when you're stripping, but I'll cover that in a minute. But that's your difference between carding and stripping knives, primarily is the size. These are my new favorite carding knives, and these are the Greyhounds. The Greyhounds are incredibly well made. They're very balanced. I love the handles. The nice wood handles are fantastic. But they have a flat surface here where you put your thumb. And when you grip these with your fingers like this and your thumb against it, put your wrist flat, it sets your angle for your carding knives to be perfect. You're not going to cut skin unless you're really digging. and it's not going to cut coat because, again, it's at the perfect angle. And remember, I just said keep your wrist straight. Don't do this. I've seen people do it. That's a good way to get carpal tunnel. Keep your wrist straight just like you would when you were scissoring. You keep your wrist straight. Again, your thumb goes there and you card, which will only remove the undercoat and whatever dead guard hairs there are. Primarily undercoat though. Carding knives come in several different sizes and shapes and different coarseness. We have in the classics, which I just laid down. Classic came in coarse and fine, and the Franklins, which are basically duplicates of these, also come in coarse and fine. They only come in right-handed, unfortunately. And a lot of people have a hard time figuring out whether it's a right-handed or a left-handed knife. But if you hold it in your hands, it looks backwards. This is the toothed edge. You can see it a little better like that. And that's the side that goes towards you. And it looks backwards, but it's not. This allows the hair to get in the groove when it's facing that way, and you get a better finish. That's the way they're designed. I'm gonna put those away. Talk about the Greyhounds, which come in coarse, medium, fine, and extra fine. And people always ask me, do they need all four? I use all four, sometimes on the same dog, because you never know what tool is going to work best on each dog until you get it in your hands. But again, these are some of my favorite carding knives. These are my Greyhounds. And again, because of their size, you could use these to strip, because when your thumb goes there, you're actually on it flat. Now, notice again, the ridges are here on the back side. And there's your divot for your thumb. Thumb goes there, tool goes in your hand. I have huge hands. Thumb goes in your hand, or thumb goes there, tool goes in your hand, and you card. Keep your wrist as flat as you can, and it'll get your angle perfect. See? Easy enough. All right? And again, like I said, you never know which tool is going to work. It's why I always have a variety of tools, depending on what I'm doing. Some dogs work better with certain tools, and you just never know until you get into it. The Andis deshutters and other tools like them, including the Coat King, remove undercoat very, very quickly. People are always asking what's the difference between an Andis deshutter and a Coat King, and I really am not 100% sure. This is a little more hooked than this is a little more round, but they both remove undercoat, and they will remove and cut guard hair if you're not careful, but only if you use them incorrectly. The trick to using these is to use them like a comb and make sure that you follow the lay of the hair. That's my favorite song ever. Follow the lay of the hair. I don't sing real well, but anyway. You do the same thing when you're carding or stripping. You're gonna pull in the direction the coat lays naturally. For my hair, it would be this way and this way. And on my Jack Russell later on, I'll show you again on him. But if the hair zigs, you zig. If it zags, you zag. If it goes in circles, you go in circles. Because if you were to take this, for example, and go like this in my hair, it's gonna cut it. But if you pull down this way, it's only gonna pull out the dead hair. I'm not gonna test it on my hair though. But if you follow the lay of the hair, and I always comb or brush it the way I want it, and then go back with this, you're not gonna get any damage. And in fact, I have pictures of the hair in my blog posts about this tool where you can literally see it wrapped around the tool, and you have hooks, literally U-shaped clumps of hair all the way down, where it's obviously pulled it out and not cut it, because if it had cut it, it wouldn't be looped like that. At any rate, this is one of my favorite tools for pet stripping or just mucking out a Cairn, a Westie, a Jack Russell, any kind of wire-coated dog. This is flippin' fantastic. It will get out tons of undercoat. I use it on Maltese as well for carting out that soft fluff, because Maltese are not supposed to have undercoat, but we all know that a lot of the pets do. I don't use my Coat Kings as much as I used to. When I do use them, I tend to use them on setter backs and spaniel backs, but I use this tool constantly. Now, to the Coat Kings. They come in 3 different teeth widths, but a million different teeth sizes. The size basically is just how wide it is. And if you have a coarse, doesn't matter if it's the 6 blade, the 12 blade, the 18 blade, the 24 blade, the course spacing is the same. The difference is just the amount that they're going to cover at one time. Always try to use the largest tool for the job so that you get it done faster. But there's your coarse. You can see they're really wide apart. Here's your medium, and here's your fine. And just to show you my point, this is also a fine. And if you were to line them up, they line up perfectly, even though one is considerably smaller than the other. And I know the people are asking, what would you use the small one for? For a smaller dog, for along the neckline possibly, crown on a cocker, that kind of thing. Again, never know which one you're going to need, so I have all of them. Again, I don't use those as much as I used to because I now have the Andis de-shedder and it does a fabulous job for me, so I tend to use it the most. Now, let's talk about stripping. This is just a basic primer on how to do this. If you actually want to get into stripping for real and you want to start rotating coats and rolling coats and doing breed specific, you're going to need to have private lessons. But this is a good starter point and a good educational realm on how the tools work. So again, we're down to stripping tools. And stripping tools include your fingers. We all have them. But if you put a finger condom, they're available in the first aid section of pretty much any store. That'll give you extra grip as well. When I do use these, I tend to put one on my middle finger and one on my thumb. Some people use their forefinger. I tend to use my middle finger. And my favorite stripping tool is actually my fingers. I love it. I can't get that one on because it's the wrong size. No, can't do it. Need a bigger one. But anyway, you would literally put these on and then use your fingers to pull, and it just gives you more grip because they stick. So when the hair's between them, it pulls right out. These are fabulous for pulling out coat on a Westie or something that's really wiry, wire fox terrier, where you can just grab and pull. Those help, and they also protect your fingers, prevent blisters from forming, because if you're really hand stripping, you can develop some serious calluses, but in the meantime, the blisters occur. So finger cots are a must. Now, there are several different things you can use for stripping. First off, knives, and these are 2 of my favorite knives. They're from Europe. These are not McClellan. I know they look like McClellan, but they're not. They're Mickey's. And they are wonderful. I was first exposed to these when I was beginning to show my cockers and learned a lot about how to use them. I like them. The thing I love the most about them is that they've got rubber handles so they protect your hands. But again, thumb there, hand here, wrist flat. You grip the hair, kind of like that, and pull. Again, I'll show you back here. You would literally pick the hair up and pull. Pick the hair up and pull. Now, deciding which hair to pull is a totally different story, and that takes a lot of practice. But if you're doing a pet strip in the salon, pretty much just pulling it so that it's even all over is what you want. You want it to look as if it were clippered, so it's nice and smooth and lays evenly. But at the same point, you want to use the stripping and or carding techniques to improve texture, improve skin health, and improve color. I'm not sure anybody really understands why carding and stripping do all of that, but they definitely do. They remove the hair from the root, therefore you end up with a better texture. Your skin is in better health because there's not embedded hairs, you've removed them. And the color stays intense. I know we've all seen Cairns or wire fox terriers that have all been washed out from years and years of clippering. You can bring that back to a degree by carding and stripping. And it doesn't have to be a perfect strip. It can just be a pet strip or a pet carding out real quick. Just get out the dead undercoat, remove some of the guard hairs, and your texture and your color will start to come back. A lot of people despise using knives for hand stripping because they cut coat. And I advise learning students to get pumice for the most part. And now Ashley Craig actually has stripping knives that are coated in the diamond grit. I don't happen to have one in front of me, but they do make them, and that actually will protect the coat as well. For some reason, the diamond coating on them and the sand coating on them is actually less abrasive to the coat, therefore you end up with a better look. This is a Dr. Scholl's pumice for heels. If you can find these, grab them because they are hard to find, but they are phenomenal. They don't damage the coat, they don't damage your fingers, and they're comfortable in your hand. It's a really smooth white pumice. This is also a white pumice. And when most people are using these, they wrap them in vet wrap or tape to protect your hand. And anywhere you're going to hold, you will want covered. And then you just, again, you use it just like you would a knife. You put your thumb down and pull. These are also both beneficial for carding. You can just rub it along, and because of the pumice texture, it will pull out undercoat. Now, Greyhound, and I don't have the sleeve for this because it got torn, also makes a diamond. I think it's diamond. This is not diamond. This is like a pumice. Again, it's like a hard pumice. It's a stone. And it's multi-layered, multifaceted. Each side is a little bit of a different texture to a degree. But you can pull, you can detail, and all of the above. And again, it will not damage coat because it can't. It can't cut. Then they make, this is the one I was thinking about, the diamond. This is the diamond texture on the end. And it's just a metal piece, and perfect for detailing around corners of the eyes where you might want to pull that hair as opposed to clippering it to make it look better and make it grow the way you want it. This is perfect for eyelashes. There's some dogs that you have to pull eyelashes on. It's fantastic. And it's also cleanable. This is a Greyhound. It's an amazing little tool. When you're in a bind and you need something to hand strip with and you don't have anything handy, a regular nail file will work. This is one from Sally's Beauty. It's actually a coarse nail file. But again, it just gives you something to grip because that's really what your tools are. Your tools are just an extension of your hand, and they're there to give you added grip. And these are perfect for that. They're fantastic for that. Now, again, the reason for hand stripping is very simple. It improves coat texture, it improves color, it improves skin health. So for those reasons alone, I think every groomer needs to know a little bit about how to do it. Like I said earlier, if you want to get heavier into hand stripping and you want to learn breed specifics, then take some private lessons hands-on. But for generalized pet grooming, where you just want to take that cute little mixed breed and keep it scruffy looking, or you've got a Jack Russell that needs to be pulled down and you don't want to shave it, or you've got a Cairn that's losing its color, that kind of thing, or somebody who really just wants a natural look on their dog, this is a technique that will help you tremendously with that goal. Hopefully in my demo, I'll cover anything that I've missed in this particular lecture series. And I hope you learned something.